We know that the people who are in the industry and want to build more new ones can't get the investment for them without getting the government to make the loan guarantees, and that they have never been able to build them within the amount of money or the time that they estimate, sometimes 300-400 times more, and we're having that experience right now with the new models in Finland and in France. And so we realize that it's really a very, very experimental situation. And those of us who live a few miles from it are at a place where we really feel that this is a matter of human rights, that we're forced to live in a training station for nuclear power. It's all the wonderful things that you're doing to try to make it better and to make the corrections are very good. Very good. And we're appreciative of that. But it tells us that the industry, the technology, is far from being proven. And that we should not be forced to live in a training station. And when you see in the newspapers the ads in Carlsbad for students from the university to come as interns, it jars us. It jars us because we thought that the people who worked there were very highly qualified and highly trained, and that they knew exactly what has to be done. And so I think that this is something that all of us here, and most of you are people who are doing your best, working there and doing your best, must think about when we're talking about extending the lives of these old plants. And Palo Verde, we learned tonight that Palo Verde is the second highest of all the problems and issues, and they're right now in the process of asking for extension of their license. So this is just not right. It's immoral.
Thank you, Lynn.
All right, the next speaker, I'd like is Jeff. Pete Lawrence.
Good evening, my name is Pete Lawrence. I represent the Oceanside Fire Department. Our department is contracted by the County of San Diego to provide off-site radiological monitoring as well as off-site dose assessment services on behalf of the county. I've been at this for 25 years. I'm a pretty regular speaker at these events. Mr. Dietrich, welcome. I've been a resident of San Juan for 35 years and again involved in San Onofre for 25 of my 29 years in the fire service. I don't work for the plant. I can't speak to how it is to operate a nuclear reactor, but I can speak to emergency management and emergency preparedness because that is my life. Again, I've done this for 25 years, both in Emergency Operations Center, the News Center, Field Team, and now the Off-Site Dose Assessment Center. With regards to the culture of bringing up concerns, again, I can only speak to my personal experiences. During a recent drill, I took on the corporate emergency director over an issue of verbiage in a public protective action recommendation. And nobody turned off my electricity. Instead, at the end of the drill, as it started to wind down, the corporate emergency director came back to see me in my cubicle in the back of the EOF, the Emergency Operations Facility. He didn't send somebody else. He came to me because he felt it was important. And he asked me what we needed to do to get rid of the confusion, get rid of the language, and make it so that both our organization, which is tasked with protecting the off-site, all the public, including my family, with the utilities. There was no question that we needed to come to a common ground on it. And to me, the feeling I got was that there was a tremendous desire on the part of your folks to solve this issue, be it minor or be it be as significant. We needed to have a good, competent organization. With regards to, I mean, you've inherited this emergency organization, this plant. What I can tell you, and I'm relatively well known within the people that know me, you can ask my wife, I'm pretty blunt, not always the most diplomatic. I spend less time on the couch than I used to, though, I will tell you that. But I'm here to tell you, sir, that you've inherited what I think is one of the premier emergency response organizations in the country. I've spent 10 years with the Forest Service. My city loans me out every summer. I've managed fires in 5 states. I've got about 1 million acres of experience. Any of the people that you have working for you can come work for me on a fire any day, because I think they're passionate about what they do. I think they're very competent about what they do. So with regards to your inheritance, it was a great inheritance. Every day that we plan for these emergencies, we prepare for them, we don't take anything for granted. We always are looking for ways to improve. We're always looking for ways to be collaborative in our efforts. So from an on-site person as well as from somebody who lives within the emergency planning zone, I can't say any better about the group of people that you've tasked with emergency preparedness and have run it in the 25 years that I've been there. So again, welcome, and I'm looking forward to another 5 years of continuing to work with your organization.
Next speaker is Gary Hedrick.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Gary Hedrick with Santa Clemente Green, Citizens for a Sustainable Future. I prepared a statement for you tonight, and stick to that and hopefully get some response. As the NRC is aware, I have done my best to communicate troubles at the plant being exposed by whistleblowers to me because I am co-founder of Santa Clemente Green, and some workers feel threatened by going through the usual channels provided to them. The most recent troubling event took place on November 24th, Thanksgiving Day. An employee contacted me on November 30th to ask, do you or anyone in your organization have any information about the accident at Chong's last week where an employee dropped a 4-foot piece of steel into the spent fuel pool? I immediately looked into it by contacting Greg Warnick at the NRC, with whom I have developed an open line of communication. On December 6th, a conference call was arranged between myself, my wife Lori, the other co-founder of Santa Clemente Green, Greg Warnick, Victor Drix, and Ryan Lance. Greg did most of the talking and was very forthright in his assessment of the situation. The following comments and quotes are based on my notes from that discussion, and if they are inaccurate in any way, please correct me when I'm done making my statement. In a room where anyone entering must first be inspected for having lanyards attached to any loose articles, such as a hat or glasses, to prevent anything from falling into the spent reactor pool, a steel I-beam fell from a crane into a pool 23 feet deep, only causing minor damage to the racks below because it fell horizontally instead of vertically. Had it fallen in the vertical position, which is the process being simulated with the beam, testing the crane as required before actually lowering the batch of spent fuel, the damage to the spent fuel containers at the bottom of the pool could likely have released an unknown quantity of radioactive gases. This would have resulted in an immediate shutdown and evacuation of the premises, causing a chain of events that one can only imagine. I said, this must have been an adrenaline moment for everyone involved, and Greg responded, it certainly was, knowing what could have happened. I was surprised to find out that the official NRC significance threshold regarding this incident was minor. This qualified as a low-level issue according to policies and procedures of the NRC. They identified it as a procedure vulnerability, which needed further evaluation, recommending things such as tethering the beam to prevent it from falling should the hook ever fail again. In my opinion, I would expect an agency such as the NRC charged with protecting the public to respond with harsh criticism and serious penalties for the operator of the plant. Instead, this event, which I would consider a close call, did not rise to the significance thresholds that would lead to any public notification or negative consequences for songs. You can't expect the public to believe that in a room where there are procedures to ensure that your eyeglasses don't fall into the spent reactor pool, that dropping a steel I-beam in the pool would not be a major event. The impression this leaves with the public is very unsettling. First of all, the only way we know that we knew about this potential dangerous event was through the responsible actions taken by a concerned employee. This indicates that there is still fear of retaliation for reporting safety concerns to management. Secondly, the NRC threshold for reporting problems at songs is so high that one is left to believe that many near misses are taking place without our knowing about it. And thirdly, and most disturbing of all, is that there will be no significant consequences as a result of this accident taking place, recalling that old axiom that what you tolerate is what you encourage. The NRC should have conducted interviews with the people actually doing the critical work when things went bad and could have gone much worse. Were they a part of the regular crew or recently contracted labor? Did they feel rushed to meet the schedule? Were they overworked or resentful working on Thanksgiving Day? Greg Warnick had no first-hand information coming directly from those who were directly responsible for the accident. Instead, it seemed that he must rely solely on what plant managers are required to tell him. Where is the outrage from the NRC? One must question if their loyalty to the public is blurred by the expectations to keep the plant operational. There is ample reason to think that nothing will be done to halt operations unless something terrible takes place, and of course, by then it will be too late. I could go on about the 14,000 gallons of radioactive water being released into a tagged area where workers were endangered downstream, or the claim that casks loaded with spent fuel were overpressurized beyond safe tolerances, but the story is always the same. No matter how bad the safety record of the plant, being by far the worst in the nation, nor how many close calls known and unknown to the public, work will go on indefinitely. The plant was designed in the 50s, constructed in the 60s, and originally planned for decommissioning in 2013, which lobbying efforts have succeeded in extending to 2020. With the new generators, songs expect to be in business well beyond 2030, regardless of the underground pipes and safety systems in place that can never be upgraded and have already shown signs of deterioration. You can't blame them for trying to get the most for their shareholders. The responsibility for the persistent safety problems at songs is squarely on the shoulders of the NRC, and if the NRC does not change the way they conduct their oversight, they should be held accountable. Thresholds for safety violations should be lowered, consequences should be raised to meet the level of the infraction, and the power to shut down operations should be imposed until recurring violations have been corrected. You are appointed by the President of the United States and entrusted with the welfare of the citizens. Whatever the policies there are in place for evaluating your own performance should be aggressively pursued, and change must take place if you expect to get different results. We, the public, are counting on it. Please change your ways before our luck runs out. The recent oil spill in the Gulf will pale by comparison to an accident at songs, and as we learned, such things can be prevented with diligent supervision. With all due respect, it is not only songs that is failing us. It is the NRC. Thank you.